Senior Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a Democrat from New Hampshire and one of the longest-serving members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, went toe-to-toe with Joseph Paladino, the Trump administration's point man on Near Eastern affairs. At the center of the exchange, empty ambassador posts across North Africa, experienced female career diplomats pulled from their stations, and a growing vacuum that our adversaries from Moscow to Beijing are only too happy to fill.
Member Rosen for holding this hearing, and Senator Murphy for giving me the opportunity to go ahead of him so I can get to another hearing. And thank you both for being here. As you've pointed out and the questions have indicated, we face critical issues in North Africa, including terrorism threats. This committee has moved the president's nominees to Morocco and Tunisia, who are now serving in those roles as ambassadors. However, 3 of the 5 North Africa posts remain vacant. What's worse, while the Senate confirmed those nominees, both male political nominees, the administration recalled the 2 female career ambassadors to Algeria and Egypt. Maybe they thought that was DEI because they were women, I don't know. But they are career ambassadors like you who have dedicated their careers to nonpartisan service for our country. And so I fail to see how recalling experienced career ambassadors when there are not others ready to take their place is in our interest. I think it's in America's interest to have confirmed ambassadors in every country around the world, and right now we are falling behind China dramatically. So can you both talk about the benefits of having confirmed ambassadors in place to address serious issues like counterterrorism? Mr. Paladino, you want to go first?
Thank you, Senator. That's an important question, and we do want to have the administration's team on the field and be fully represented. I appreciate the cooperation.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you not consider career ambassadors part of the president's team, no matter who the president is?
Senator, you referenced some specific ambassadors being recalled, and that's something that happens between administrations, and that is kind of the way the Foreign Service has worked often in the past. It's kind of the normal course of nature, and when that happens,
well, Mr. Paladino, that is not correct. I have been here I'm going on 18 years now. I've been on this committee for almost 18 years, and I have seen ambassadors come and go. And what I have seen is that career ambassadors are generally left in place until they are replaced by another nominee or another career ambassador. So don't tell me that that's the normal course of events, because I know it's not. And the fact is, when we don't have confirmed ambassadors on the ground, America's interests suffer. And I don't care how you can try and defend the fact that we don't have people on the ground, but we don't, and America's interests are suffering. I want to move on, because Algeria has been an important U.S. counterterrorism partner. They have seemed to be willing to turn away from Russia and toward the United States, not only in economic ties, but on military ties. But public reporting currently suggests that the Algerian government has purchased Russian fighter aircraft, and it's in talks to purchase even more because it would take too long to get American planes delivered. So can you speak, this may be for you, Mr. Boker, but I'm not sure, but maybe it's for you, Mr. Paladino, what is the administration's thinking on CAATSA sanctions if Algeria does order a number of planes from Russia?
Thank you, Senator. We also have seen those media reports, and they're concerning. I would say that the Department of State is committed to upholding the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, and transactions like those that you have described, they may trigger that determination. This is something that we will watch closely, we could speak more offline, perhaps in a classified setting, in greater detail on the underlying content.
Well, can we talk about what we might be able to do to disincentivize Russian-Algeria cooperation on military purchases like those planes?
We work closely with the government in Algeria on issues where we find common ground. We certainly don't agree on many things, and this would be an example where the United States would have a problem. We approach the leadership and the governments as we find them, and we use the leverage that we have, often in private, diplomatically, to advance our interests and stop behavior which is not acceptable.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
I want to thank the chairman, ranking member, for this important hearing. I want to thank you.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a woman who has spent nearly 2 decades on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who has watched administrations of both parties manage the diplomatic corps, sat across from a Trump administration official and was told, essentially, that pulling seasoned female career ambassadors out of critical North African posts with no replacements lined up is just the normal course of nature. And she wasn't having it. 3 out of 5 North Africa posts sitting empty while China expands its footprint across the continent at breathtaking speed. What's not normal is recalling 2 women career diplomats, not political appointees, women who served under Republicans and Democrats alike, and leaving a vacuum in Algeria and Egypt, 2 countries where American interests are not theoretical. They are urgent. They are daily. They involve counterterrorism, cooperation, arms deals, and the question of whether nations in that region drift toward Washington or toward Moscow. Here is a country that was showing willingness to pivot away from Russia and toward the United States, a genuine diplomatic opportunity. And what did this administration do? It left the ambassador's chair empty. It created a void. And now, reports indicate Algeria is purchasing Russian fighter jets not because they prefer Russian hardware, but because, as Senator Shaheen pointed out, American delivery timelines are simply too long. We are losing them to logistics and to the absence of anyone on the ground with the authority and the relationships to close the deal. And when pressed on this, when asked directly about CAATSA sanctions, about what tools the United States has to prevent a key North African partner from deepening its military ties with Vladimir Putin's Russia, what did the administration's representative offer? We could speak more offline, perhaps in a classified setting. That is Washington's polite way of saying, we don't have an answer, and we'd rather you stop asking in public. Mr. Paladino spoke about using leverage in private, diplomatically. But what leverage do you have when there's no ambassador in the building? What private diplomacy can you conduct when the person who's supposed to be conducting it has been recalled to Washington and not replaced? And let's not gloss over the gender dimension here, because Senator Shaheen certainly didn't. 2 career ambassadors recalled both women. Their replacements? 2 political nominees confirmed both men. The senator's line was devastating and precise. Maybe they thought that was DEI because they were women. In this administration, competence, experience, and decades of nonpartisan service apparently count for less than ideological conformity. And if you happen to be a woman in the Foreign Service, you might just find yourself on the wrong side of a culture war you never signed up for.